Part 35. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 341. Chapter 341 Leaving. The weather now is perfect for snowing. It is snowing in the sky. The snow is white and very beautiful. The little angel spread his black and white wings. Since he was still too young, his wings were naturally no bigger than Yang Zizi's. He flew up and quickly and accurately caught a snowflake. It did not melt, but stayed in the little angel's hand. Because the angel's body temperature is already a few degrees below zero, the snowflakes will not melt in the palm of his hand. The little envoy ran to Yang Zizi, spread out his little hand, and handed it to Yang Zizi. "Mommy, I gave this to you." "Thank you, baby," Yang Zizi chirped, leaving a kiss on the little angel's face. The vinegar jar next to him was knocked over again. This guy must have come here to ask for a kiss on purpose. Giving someone a snowflake is nothing, it would be a bit too shabby. But looking at the extremely happy smile on Yang Zizi's face, Lun Chenchi was not willing to be outdone. When he stood up, he was bound to compete with his son. "Honey, wait a minute, I'll catch you a bigger one." He spread his wings and flew up. The envoy suddenly hung in the air, looked into the distance, and shouted to Yang Zizi, "Mommy, it seems that my aunt is back, and she is bringing her uncle with her." The family came to the hall together. Goikale led U11 into the hall and bowed to his brothers. "I'm sorry, no matter what my brothers want to do, I won't have any complaints." She seemed to be prepared for the worst. She has lived enough in this world anyway, and now that she finally has someone by her side who makes her feel like she has everything, she will definitely protect him to the death. If her brothers want to kill him, she will not stop him because she plans to disappear into this world with him. Even if there is no chance of reincarnation, she will not blame anyone, because after all, the wrong thing she did is not quite a few. Ghost Ziogu did have a headache for several days decades ago, but after discussing with his other brothers, sister, and brother-in-law, he finally agreed to accept them. However, in order to prevent other vampires from despising them, Goi Ziogu decided to let them move away from the vampire royal family and become wandering vampires. This decision, Goikale felt, was reasonable but also unexpected. She did not expect that her brothers would actually accept U11, a non-pure vampire, and they were not at all angry at her for transforming humans without authorization. Finally, after she said goodbye to her brothers and sister, she left the blood royal family with U11's fingers intertwined. This home where she has lived for more than 1,000 years. She seems to have no nostalgia anymore because her mother is no longer there, but there seem to be some people and things worth nostalgia for. Brothers, they have been really good to her since she was little, but she just doesn't know how to cherish them. There is also his half-sister. If there was no Lunchenchi, the relationship between them would have been very good. Ghost Kale. Suddenly, Yang Zizi's voice sounded from behind. Goikale turned around and took a look, and was so moved that he almost cried. She has never understood why such an ordinary human being would be protected by Lunchenchi with all his life. Now, she seems to understand. "Come back and see me from time to time. After all, you are my brother's only sibling sister." Yang Zizi can naturally see the reluctance in his brother's eyes, but they are just enduring it. Goikale nodded. She didn't dare to look directly into her eyes because she felt guilty because she had done some excessive things to her. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 342. Chapter 342 Return to the Human World. "Treat my sister well," Yang Zizi told U11. "Don't worry," U11 said with a smile. Goikale was shocked. What did she call herself just now? Sister. Did she hear it right? She actually called her sister. No, the tears she had held back for so long were about to flow down like a flood just because of Yang Zizi's words. After sending Goikale and the others away, when Yang Zizi turned around to go back, he saw Lun Zhenji standing behind him. "Why did you come out with me?" "Because I don't feel at ease without seeing you." Lun Zhenji quickly moved to Yang Zizi and held her tightly in his arms. "Should we go to the human world to live for a while?" In fact, Yang Zizi wanted to live in the human world. He missed his life since he was a child, and he also missed the wedding room where she and Lun Zhenji got married in the human world. "Okay, we'll say goodbye to our brothers later," Lun Zhenji said with a smile. Then he thought of something and hurriedly said, "Can we not bring the envoy?" Although he is said to be his biological son, he is really unhappy in his eyes. This kid is very weird. Every time he and Yang Zizi are alone, this kid doesn't know how to behave. Give them a private space. This kid is good. He actually started to win favor with him openly, and even yelled at him with a proud look on his face. You have to ask his opinion about this, and then ask who will support him here. Yang Zizi said, "This seems to be a not simple question." After returning home, Lun Zhenji immediately pulled the envoy on horseback, coaxing him and offering him delicious food. He basically responded to every request. "Son, in a few days, mommy and daddy will go to live in the human world. You just stay in the vampire clan and don't go with us." "Why?" The envoy became unhappy after hearing this and immediately protested. "The whole family is living together happily, why don't they suddenly stop taking him with them?" "Because you have grown up." "Yes, just because I have grown up, I have to stay by mommy's side to protect her. There is nothing wrong with that. Your mommy can be protected by me." "No, I also want to protect mommy." "You should protect the person you should protect. In the future, you will have a girl, and she will be the person you want to protect." "Who is it?" The little envoy looked at Lun Zhenji with wide eyes. "This problem is really difficult." "Your future girlfriend anyway." This kid is already over 200 years old. In the human world, he is an old man who has been married several times. There is no harm in telling him, not to mention that this kid is obviously in front of him. Pretending to be innocent, pretending not to know anything. After being persuaded by Lun Zhenji and forced by enforcement, the little ambassador finally compromised and decided to leave a private space for his parents. The only thing Lun Zhenji has to do now is to find a guardian for the little angel, but if you think about it carefully, in this vampire clan, there are several guardians without looking for an angel. Basically, the brothers will not leave the vampire clan. With them gone, the task of raising the little angel naturally falls on the brothers. The envoy was sleeping. Lun Zhenji and Yang Zizi had already packed their luggage and were about to leave. Unexpectedly, Gui Chen caught up with them dragging their luggage. "What are you going to do?" Lun Zhenji asked helplessly. Finally he and Yang Zizi had a private space, but unexpectedly another ghost Chen ran out. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 343. Chapter 343, Take You to a Place. Don't worry, I live next door to you and I will never disturb you. Besides, I just want to see her when I go to the human world this time. Gui Chenchen's eyes suddenly became melancholy. They all naturally knew who she was that Gui Chen was talking about. It seems that this boy has a deep love that cannot be ended. But it's understandable, just like they love each other. Coming to the human world, Yang Zizi threw himself on the bed and felt the atmosphere of that year. It's all ashes. Get up and let me clean it up. As Lun Zhenji was about to pick up his little wife, Yang Zizi suddenly pushed him down on the bed with his backhand, looked at him lovingly and said, "Husband, when are we going to have a second child?" Lun was prosperous. Why was this woman thinking about having a second child with him every day? Finally, I ask someone not to compete with him for favor, and now I want to create another one. Absolutely not. But the most important aspect is that the risk of Yang Zizi's pregnancy is too high, and giving birth to a baby girl is already the best of luck. You like children so much, then let's go to the orphanage and adopt a little girl, Lun Zhenqi suggested. On the way back, whenever his wife saw a little girl passing by, she would stare at them for a long time. A complete spoiler. Yang Zizi shook his head. If the children's parents came to pick them up, wouldn't it ruin the happy life of the family of three? Seeing Lun Zhenqi's face in embarrassment and not knowing what to do with her, Yang Zizi finally compromised. Okay, let's talk about it later, she coaxed her husband. Lun Zhenqi finally smiled and scratched her little nose, his eyes full of doting on her. I will take you to a place tomorrow, Lun Zhenqi said mysteriously. Where are we going? Yang Zizi asked expectantly. Over the past 200 years, the world has changed so much. Many places have been developed by developers, and it is no longer possible to tell what this place was originally used for. You'll know tomorrow. You take a rest first and I'll clean the living room. Lun Zhenqi kissed Yang Zizi's lips deeply and said with joy. Yang Zizi suddenly pulled him and said with a smile, Uncle, it's the 50th century now, and you can't believe how advanced technology is. Before we came back, our home had already been cleaned by robots. It seems that the predictions of scientists and entrepreneurs hundreds of years ago have indeed been partially confirmed. It suddenly dawned on Lun Zhenqi that when he came in, he found that the house had indeed been swept clean. There was no dust at all, and there were no stains on the carpet. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door, and the boy Gui Chen shouted outside the door, Brother-in-law, have you cooked yet? Yang Zizi couldn't help but smile. She had been dreaming of this kind of life for a long time, but she didn't expect them to come back again. The only pity is that they are missing their brothers, but I believe they will soon come to the human world and live with them again for a while. Lun Zhenqi really had a headache. No matter how hard he tried to hide, he couldn't avoid the insertion of the light bulb. If you don't cook anymore, your brother-in-law will probably have to stay at our house, Yang Zizi reminded him with a smile, but the smile on his face was very happy. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 344. Chapter 344, Big Data Knows You. Lun Zhenqi had no choice but to get up and cook. The three of them were sitting at the dining table, and Gui Chen, as he ate, remembered those days of more than 200 years. It tastes good, why are you sighing? Lun Zhenqi ruthlessly complained about this affectionate and righteous Gui Chen. Sometime I'll let my brothers and sisters come over to stay for a while, which will bring us back to those days more than 200 years ago. Lun Zhenqi is going to faint, this is not giving him a way to survive. Just when he was about to get angry, Gui Chen suddenly changed the subject and said, Hey, how long will you live in the human world this time? What are you planning to do? Gui Chen asked while eating, without delaying his stomach at all. Let's wait 100 years and see. As for what to do, I haven't decided yet, Yang Zizi said, but he looked at Lun Zhenqi, wondering if his uncle had any good ideas. Eat, drink, and have fun. Yang Zizi thought that his uncle would have some good business plan, but he didn't expect that he actually wanted to be a salted fish for 100 years. It's not impossible to be a salted fish for 100 years. Anyway, the superstar in front of them is a living cash machine. Plus the ambassador's credit card, which is his previous salary card, it is enough for them to live happily for 100 years. However, it can only be done reluctantly. Gui Chen rolled her eyes at him, and then said her great goal impassionedly, I want to become the best actor in the entertainment industry. Big data has hundreds of years of memory. Even if others don't recognize you, are you afraid that big data won't recognize you? Yang Zizi reminded casually. Maybe this kid is still thinking about the vampire clan and didn't follow him. It doesn't matter. Nowadays, There are many people in the entertainment industry who bump into each other with historical figures, and I am not the only one. When the time comes, I can just say that they bump into each other. Moreover, I have already chosen a stage name for myself, which is called CE. Yang Zizi almost spit out, the two letters were put together too casually. I will support you when the time comes, Gui Chen Chen said generously. As before, Gui Chen Chen still left after eating. At night, Lun Chenchi brought Yang Zizi to a place. She looked at the tall buildings one after another and asked, "Where is this? It seems a little familiar, but also a little strange." "This is the Gu family's house, which has now been developed into an economic center," Lun Chenchi said, looking at his wife. Care for the family. If he had not mentioned the Gu family during the heyday of Lun dynasty, he would have almost forgotten the Gu family who had treated her as his biological daughter for more than 200 years. Her nose felt sour. Although they did not need to experience birth, old age, illness, and death like humans, they still had to experience the death of people around them who they cared about. Suddenly, a young boy stood not far away from them, looking up at the tall building, as if he was remembering something and looking forward to something. Yang Zizi noticed this boy. This young man looks exactly like Gu Zhaozhao. It can even be said to be exactly the same. Hai Yang Zizi took the initiative to greet him. His nose was sore again. He knew that the young man in front of him was Gu Zhaozhao's third life. He is still a college student, but he has already started his own business. Although he has experienced many failures, he has never given up. One day, he will enter this high-rise building, buy his own office building, and set up his own company. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 345. Chapter 345 Gu Zhaozhao. The young man was a little confused, and suddenly realized that it was because he was too good-looking and another young lady came to chat with him. But I don't know why this young lady who struck up a conversation seemed to be very different from the other young ladies. Looking at her, she looked very friendly. "Hello," Gu Zhaozhao replied politely. "You." Yang Zizi didn't know what to say to him for a moment. Although they were once brother and sister, they didn't know what to say to each other. "May I have your name?" The boy was stunned again for a moment. This young lady is so strange. The first thing other young ladies asked when they came over to chat was whether the younger brother had a girlfriend, but she directly asked her name, as if it's the kid I met for the first time. "My name is Gu Zhaozhao." Yang Zizi was stunned. Gu Zhaozhao? Exactly the same name as before. Yang Zizi's mouth was half open as he was about to move, not knowing what to say. When he finally wanted to speak, Gu Zhaozhao's cell phone suddenly rang. "Hey, Mom, don't worry, I'll go home right away." The family that Gu Zhaozhao lives in is still a wealthy family with excellent conditions, but it is no longer like a traditional wealthy family, where everything is clearly arranged by the family, but he arranges his own life alone. Sure enough, because now as long as you reach the age of 18, once you become an adult, you have to shoulder the obligation to raise yourself, and it is no longer the obligation of your parents. "I'm leaving first," Gu Zhaozhao greeted Yang Zizi politely and wanted to leave. "Hey." Looking at Gu Zhaozhao's leaving figure, Yang Zizi wanted to chase him and tell him that even if their relationship was not biological, it was still a matter of love. Lun Chenchi caught her in time. "Zizi, everyone has their own life." Although his name is Gu Zhaozhao, he is no longer the Gu Zhaozhao he was 3 lives ago. Yang Zizi sighed. Everything had changed. On the other hand, Gui Chen Chen, because of his outstanding appearance, superb acting skills and super ability, successfully signed a contract with a top brokerage company and became the company's most popular newcomer. When he joined the company, in order to praise him, the company gave him a chance to be in the same frame as the current movie king. He played the role of the movie king's younger brother. He didn't have many roles, he was scumbag and a bit bad, and he was quite lovable. He's likable, even if I say he's not likable, he's quite unlikable. It's mainly because of his face that his unlikable character will become likable. When Gui Chen Chen finished the shooting and returned to the company, he suddenly saw a familiar figure coming towards him. Choi Ye-ian. Ghost Chen Chen quickly grabbed her wrist. The girl turned her head and looked at him with confusion, but for some reason, she felt a very strange feeling in her heart. What are you doing? The girl looked at Gui Chen Chen a little fiercely. Gui Chen Chen subconsciously let go of her and said unnaturally, my name is Ce, can we be good friends? He looked at her and asked. In the past, she stalked him, but he was not moved at all. But now, it's his turn to chase her. This time, he will never miss it again. I have missed it for too long and been troubled for too long. He decided to face his inner thoughts. Of course, my name is Kui Yin, the girl smiled. Familiar names and familiar people, it's like going back to more than 200 years ago. Kui Yin looked at Gui Chen Chen. Although she thought he was strange, he was her first friend in this company and the first person to talk to her without any pretense. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 346. Chapter 346 Kui Yin. We will be colleagues from now on, please take care of me. Kui Yin stretched out a friendly hand and faced him with a smile. Colleague. It turns out that her dream has never changed. Even though she has been reincarnated several times, it is still the same dream. Please take care of me. Gui Chen Chen said this excitedly and unconsciously. Do you know me? Kui Yin suddenly asked inexplicably. There was no reason why he asked this question. The main reason was that Gui Chen Chen's eyes gave him a feeling of déjà vu. No, Gui Chen Chen reacted and touched the back of his head in embarrassment. He was so involved just now that he forgot that this Kui Yin was not the other Kui Yin. See you tomorrow then. Kui Yin said goodbye to him with a smile. Everyone was gone without a trace, but Gui Chen Chen still stood there stupidly waving goodbye to the air. You kid is acting with the air. Suddenly, the actor appeared in front of Gui Chen Chen and waved his hands in front of him. It seems that you are still too nervous, but it is normal. It is inevitable that you will be confused when filming for the first time. Nervous? The actor in front of me is almost running for 3 years. He seems to be older than him, but in fact he is older than him. But the actor treated him like a biological brother, without any of the chaos in the entertainment industry in the past, such as intrigues, roles, and unspoken rules. The entertainment industry today seems to be cleaner than before, so clean that there is no flaw at all. Every actor is talented, and now the film and television dramas have changed their broadcast mode. In order not to keep the audience waiting too long, current film and television dramas have chosen the mode of filming and broadcasting at the same time. On the one hand, the requirements for actors are extremely high, otherwise the normal work process will not be possible. On the other hand, you can control the output cost, whether you need to create the next step, and absorb some positive suggestions from the audience's evaluation. On the second day, Gui Chen Chen and Kui Yin arrived downstairs at the company almost at the same time, and they both had to clock in for work at the same time. Gui Chen Chen took a step back like a gentleman and let Kui Yin check in first. Kui Yin glanced at him, smiled, and started punching in without being polite. As a supporting actor with only a few scenes, Gui Chen Chen quickly completed the work and finalized it. All the scenes have been aired. The response was also very good. He gained tens of millions of fans overnight and suddenly became a second-tier star. Taking advantage of the current high popularity, the company promoted another drama to him, but this time he made a rude request. He wanted to play the male and female lead with Kui Yin. Everyone thought that he became famous because of one role, and then he became famous. He actually chose the opposite actor himself. I don't know why the director finally agreed. Maybe he was already optimistic about Kui Yin's ability. In order to convince everyone, anyone who wanted this role could audition with the director to win the role, but in the end, it was Kui Yin who defeated all the artists who came to audition with her own strength. "This is my first time working together, please give me your advice." This was the first thing Kui Yin said to Gui Chen Chen at the opening ceremony. When filming started, Gui Chen Chen took very good care of Kui Yin, and people on the set started gossiping about whether Gui Chen Chen had a crush on Kui Yin. However, according to Gui Chen Chen's current popularity and status, Kui Yin is simply not worthy of him. Facing the gossip of their colleagues, Kui Yin and Gui Chen Chen turned a blind eye and turned a deaf ear. Anyway, even if they said nothing, it would not come true. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 347. Chapter 347 Sprained Ankle. During the break, they ignored the strange looks from other artists and sat across from each other, chatting and laughing, and talked about their interest in this industry. Because the two had similar interests, the conversation went smoothly. "TCH, you are so shameless, you actually seduced my male idol in public." The second female lead in this drama glanced at Kui Yin, looking at them, feeling inexplicably sour in her heart. Many of the supporting actors looked at Kui Yin with disdain and sneered at the words of the second female lead. It was already 2 or 3 in the morning after the shooting. The shooting location this time is in the wild, and it is estimated that the filming will last a few days. For the male protagonist, the company will provide an RV for him to live in. However, because the female protagonist Kui Yin is a newcomer, the role of the female protagonist was just because she was lucky enough to meet Gui Chen Chen. However, there are some wealthy second-generation people from relatively well-off families who come with their own RVs. Since you don't have an RV, you can only rest in your own business car. The extra actors and the like are probably just making bunks on the ground. Kui Yin was about to return to the business car when she suddenly tripped over a banana peel under her feet and accidentally twisted her foot. The second female, who was chatting and laughing with the little sisters in the RV at the moment, saw that her plot had succeeded, and laughed with satisfaction. "Humph, let's see how you are going to film tomorrow, so close to my boyfriend." Kui Yin tried to stand up, but a stinging pain came from her feet, making it impossible for her to exert any effort. Now the assistant has returned to the business car to prepare a sleeping place for her, and it is still some distance away from the business car. All the staff have now evacuated. With no choice but to endure the pain, Kui Yin gritted her teeth and planned to return to the car. Ah! Just when Kui Yin was about to stand up, a big hand suddenly supported her, preventing her from falling. "Are you okay?" Gui Chen Chen looked into his eyes and asked. At this moment, Kui Yin's mind went blank. He could only feel that his heart was beating violently, and his ears also felt a burning sensation. After a while, Kui Yin finally reacted and broke away from him, but the pain from the anklet once again made her unable to stand firm. Gui Chen Chen quickly grabbed her waist with his eyes and hands. Kui Yin looked straight at the man in front of her. Strange, why his heart is beating so fast, and why his eyes feel a little bit familiar. Gui Chen Chen then picked up Kui Yin in the princess's arms without saying a word. What are you doing?" Kui Yin struggled. She was afraid of being seen by others and photographed by paparazzi. After all, after Gui Chen Chen became popular, there were many paparazzi following her. If they were photographed acting so intimately, the keyboard warrior would scribble again. At that time, the misunderstanding will be difficult to resolve. "Heal your wounds," Gui Chen Chen said coldly. "Why can't this woman learn to take good care of herself?" I used to always get myself bruised, and it still does now. It seems that this woman can't survive without him. Kui Yin suddenly felt a little better and let Gui Chen Chen carry her into his RV. The manager was going crazy when he saw this situation. Many people were already dissatisfied with this newcomer becoming the heroine of a big-budget TV series, but his own artist actually dared to carry her back to the RV blatantly. This really gave him an instant urge to jump into the sea. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 348. Chapter 348 Girlfriend. Chen Chen, what are you doing? If you are photographed by the media. The manager was nervous and had not finished speaking. Gui Chen Chen said solemnly, if it is photographed, it will be photographed. I want my girlfriend hug me however I want. The agent was surprised and incoherent, and his body movements showed his nervousness and fear. Why, I want to be a light bulb. Gui Chen Chen put Kui Yin on the sofa and glanced at the agent who was about to say something but didn't dare to say it. The agent closed his mouth for an instant and had nothing more to say. Before leaving, I still couldn't bear the occupational disease, so I asked, are you really dating? Am I kidding? Gui Chen Chen asked him seriously. The agent who got the affirmative answer said nothing more and ran away in despair. Kui Yin looked confused. She, the client, didn't know when she dated him or when she got a boyfriend out of nowhere. Do you, like me? Perhaps this is the only situation that shows that Gui Chen Chen takes such meticulous care of himself. Ghost Chen Chen patted Kui Yin's head angrily, pretending to be angry and said, you only know now. Kui Yin was confused. How could he be so domineering? How could he make his own decision and tell others that she was his girlfriend? He even hugged her in front of the media who might be lurking. But, for some reason, her heart palpitated when she saw this young man busy with his foot injury. Deep down, there seemed to be an inexplicable familiar feeling towards him. Ghost Chen Chen dug out the medicine box and carefully took out the swelling and analgesic medicine. Kui Yin felt really strange when she looked at Gui Chen Chen, who lowered his eyes and looked for medicine for her seriously. She didn't know what it felt like. Since childhood, he has never liked anyone or had such feelings for anyone. She didn't understand what this feeling was. Ghost Chen Chen grabbed Kui Yin's feet, and Kui Yin shrank from his warmth. Kui Yin looked at him strangely. Why was his temperature so low, as if he had just escaped from the refrigerator? But she didn't know why. Even a cold temperature warmed her heart like the warm sun in winter. You won't feel the biting cold on your ankles either. Ghost Chen Chen didn't seem to be aware of her own temperature, but applied medicine to her seriously. Kui Yin's heart at this moment is extremely complex. Okay, I'll probably feel better after tonight, and it won't delay tomorrow's shooting. I don't know how long it took, Gui Chen Chen said while packing the medicine box. It will be better tomorrow. What a rare treasure this is. The effect is so fast. Generally, a sprained ankle will not heal in a few days. You will sleep here with me today. It is not a question, but a commanding tone. No, no need, I'd better go back to my own business car. Kui Yin struggled to get up, and then left. I don't know why she really wants to escape at this moment. Ghost Chen Chen suddenly held her down and came close to her. Chui Yeyan held her breath. We are boyfriend and girlfriend now. There is no need to be so open to me, my girlfriend. After saying this, Gui Chen Chen didn't forget to tease her. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 349. Chapter 349 Her story. After saying that, Gui Chen Chen hugged Kui Yin and went to bed, covered her with a quilt and comforted her, Don't worry, I've been suffering from insomnia recently and won't fall asleep, Gui Chen Chen said with a smile. Insomnia? Does he stay awake every day and night, or does he sometimes take sleeping pills? I don't know why, but Kui Yin is very worried at this moment. How long have you been suffering from insomnia? Kui Yin asked worriedly. Gui Chen Chen smiled softly. The woman looked so worried about him, it was really cute. Probably hundreds, decades, Gui Chen Chen said with a smile. What? Decades? Then he has had insomnia and cannot sleep since he was born. Didn't you go to the doctor? Don't worry, this is not an illness, this is a habit passed down from our ancestors. He covered her with a quilt, comforted her, and told her to go to bed quickly, as there would be filming tomorrow. Kui Yin is puzzled. A habit passed down from ancestors? What kind of habit is this? They are all the same ordinary people, but they don't sleep? This is the first time I heard it. Kui Yin was dubious, wondering if he was telling himself a story. Go to sleep, I will always be by your side, Gui Chen Chen comforted her. The two of them were silent for an unknown amount of time. Kui Yin finally closed her eyes and fell asleep. It was late at night, Kui Yin was sleeping quietly, and Gui Chen Chen was sitting on the sofa, playing games for a while because of boredom. After finishing playing the game, he linked his arms and looked at Kui Yin, as if he couldn't get enough of her. At 5 o'clock in the morning, when Gui Chen Chen was learning to make breakfast, she suddenly heard Kui Yin's cell phone ringing. Gui Chen Chen instantly picked up her cell phone and turned off the sound, and looked at the caller ID, Mom. Gui Chen Chen subconsciously pressed the answer button. A scolding voice came from inside, You girl, why don't you send money home quickly? Your brother is going to college, and there are many places to spend money. Now you have also accepted a movie with a female protagonist. She must have made a lot of money on the phone. Kui Yin's mother heard that her daughter had accepted a role as a heroine, and she was very happy. The main reason was because she thought her daughter was going to be popular, and the money she made was so great. But with hundreds of thousands or millions a day, all their family's expenses are covered. Ghost Chen Chen sighed deeply and glanced at Kui Yin distressedly. It turns out that she, who appears to be strong and pretends that nothing happened, actually has a family like this. But no matter what, it was indeed her parents who raised her single-handedly, so asking for money is not an excessive thing. Immediately, Gui Chen Chen transferred 100 million to Kui Yin's account, and then transferred the money to Kui Yin's parents in Kui Yin's name. This seemingly complicated move was completed by Gui Chen Chen in 1 second. At 6 o'clock, Kui Yin naturally woke up. As soon as I woke up, I smelled a delicious fragrance. She got out of bed and saw Gui Chen Chen making breakfast. She felt incredible. She didn't expect that the new male Gui Chen Chen would actually make breakfast. If his female fans knew about it, they would probably scream again. Can you still make breakfast? Kui Yin asked. Of course, I have a girlfriend now. How can I take care of my girlfriend? Gui Chen Chen winked to Kui Yin, implying that his feelings for her were definitely not a joke. Kui Yin lowered her head and smiled. Although she had only known him for only a week, she actually had different emotions towards this boy. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 350. Chapter 350 Being Hacked. With the relationship confirmed in this way, Kui Yin felt like she was in a dream. She never thought that she would make a boyfriend so quickly, and he was still an insider. I always feel like we have met somewhere before. Kui Yin sat on the sofa and looked at Gui Chen Chen, who was preparing breakfast. She often had the same dream. In the dream, there was a young man wearing a black cloak standing in the darkness, emitting a faint light. The young man's body shape seemed somewhat similar to that of Gui Chen Chen, but the young man in the dream seemed to have fangs. The eyes are also blood red, but Gui Chen Chen is not at all. Gui Chenchen's movements were stunned for a second, then he adjusted his mood and sat down opposite Kui Yan with breakfast in hand. Fool, we all knew each other in the first 3 lives. In each subsequent life, he will find her and let her belong to him only. Eternal life and eternity, she can only be his, Gui Chenchen's, only woman. Maybe we were lovers in our previous life, Gui Chen said with a smile. In Kui Yin's view, he was joking with himself. Because in this world, no one can 100% confirm whether reincarnation of human beings really exists. The two people sat facing each other and had breakfast together, without any sense of disobedience, as if they were a real couple. As for Kui Yin, there doesn't seem to be anything unnatural about her. It's really easy to get along with him, and she will naturally and unconsciously regard him as her boyfriend. Gui Chen went to wash the dishes, while Kui Yin watched blankly. In any case, he felt that this scene was very familiar. Suddenly, the phone rang. It was a message from the agent. At first glance, it was all about the news from last night. Title: Falling in Love Quickly. The new male Gui Chen falls in love with a new artist, and the role of the female protagonist is revealed. The general content of the news is about the relationship between the two of them, with a few photos of Gui Chen carrying Kui Yin into the RV last night. Although it was dark and nothing could be seen, the photos were exceptionally clear. The end of the content is about questioning Kui Yin's true strength. Many people accuse her of not really having the strength to get the position of the heroine at all, but because she seduced Gui Chen and used unfair means to get with Gui Chen together, and win the position of female number 1. Everyone has doubts about his ability. Although the audition video has been exposed, some people still say that she faked it, stole the role, and seduced the male idol. Cui Yan's popularity among passers-by fell to the bottom instantly, and her body was completely blackened overnight. Even lost tens of thousands of fans. 70% of the comments below the news are calling Kui Yin shameless, a vase, and without strength. Gui Chen glanced at it casually and turned off his phone. Kui Yin just blinked. The news suddenly disappeared. Her phone returned to the home page. When she looked through the news sent to her by her agent again, it turned out to be news about the official lineup of the new drama. Kui Yin wiped her eyes. What's going on? What she just saw was her own black material, but why did it disappear in the blink of an eye? An explosive news suddenly appeared in the status bar. Kui Yin clicked on the news with a very uneasy mood. She was ready to be scolded, but when she clicked on the news, she was shocked. End of this chapter.